this for us?
Yeah.
I think it's the minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, you have one.
Okay, well, we're starting at 67.
10:18.
10:18. And the minutes of our last meeting on December the 15th. Yeah, there's the 8th and the 16th.
November 8th and November 16th.
Yeah.
Just for some reason, there's an old agenda in here.
So, do I have a motion to accept the one for this, for the November the 8th?
I accept those as read.
Okay. And I'll second it, and we'll vote in, so that's okay. And then on, members absent, was me. So, I read through this, she sent me a copy. And could I have a motion for the ones on, this was the one for, we did the one for November.
December 15th.
And then Thursday, December the 15th. The one we need. Well, I was not there. Now, can we do that, since I was not there?
I don't think you can, you need to have like I think you have to have a majority of the people who were present at the meeting to approve the meeting minutes, I'm pretty sure.
Just
So you were
postpone.
there?
Yeah, but I'm not a committee member,
Said
so.
postpone until chair is present.
Right, well, I'm present. So.
You can vote on the November 8th minutes, you just can't vote on the November 16th minutes.
Right. So we'll have to put that one in till the next meeting. Okay? Okay. Well, we got a list here of things that we want
Covered? They were already,
Covered, yeah.
they were already all covered.
they're all covered?
Yes.
Yeah. And then we're losing our cable clerk.
Looks like maybe we lost it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think she said she was gone.
Robbie?
Yeah.
Did she leave, like, Hubbardston? Is she no longer working in Hubbardston, or is she just not doing cable clerking?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I really don't.
That's all right.
I think she was. It was her that was doing it, right?
Bobby, yeah.
But I was of the, I thought she was just doing it until.
Larry Reed was
somebody else was, I don't think she was gonna be it.
Oh, okay.
I hate, I can't, I don't have anything to say about that because, you know, we don't have a cable clerk right now. But she said she would get the minutes or get the, and do the,
Well, she did do the minutes for the November meetings,
Yeah,
and those
and
were the
she-
last time we met, so.
right, but I mean, in the thing that she sent to me, I think it was all of us.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I wasn't on it.
She just said she was going to not be here today and tomorrow, but she would pick it up off of the.
Oh, okay, so,
Off of the, and she'd put the minutes together.
for today's meeting?
For today's meeting.
But then after that, she's done? Is
I
that
don't
right?
know.
Oh, okay, it's not clear,
Yeah, it's not clear.
okay.
So let's, you know, I'm just gonna put a little question mark into that.
Okay.
Equipment loaning policy,
Mhm.
bring me up to date on that.
On December 15th, I sent, 2 examples of equipment sign-out sheets from 2 of the stations that I manage. But it doesn't look like I got printed out for review. But basically, you just need to decide on a policy. Some stations allow, once someone has been trained on the equipment and knows how to use it, then they can borrow the equipment. Some towns, you know, they can borrow the equipment for whatever they like. Some other towns say they can only borrow equipment if it's like for something that's gonna go on the station or whatever. That's up to you guys. Most stations have a policy that if like the equipment is returned broken or whatever, then, you know, the person who borrowed the equipment is responsible for replacing it with something comparable. That's pretty standard. You know, you could decide if you want to put a time limit on loans or if they're open-ended, you know. That's kinda just points for you guys to decide.
Okay, and then that would be followed by a sign-out sheet, obviously.
Yeah, there'd be a sign-out sheet which would have somewhere to list what equipment is being borrowed, by whom. That person signs the sign-out sheet, and then additionally, someone from cable signs it, you know, like as witnessing. And then when the equipment is returned, again, both parties sign it. So like when it's returned, whoever from cable, you know, looks at the equipment, make sure it's still operating or whatever, and then both parties sign the sheet again.
I feel that the equipment should be, what they film should be either broadcasted or if it's gonna be shown at the library or Lions Club or.
Something that
It has to be,
has like,
viewed to the town,
okay, so something that benefits the town.
correct?
Something, yeah, you can put some sort of verbiage like that is some benefit to the town.
'Cause when I was with the cable, we had a training on how to use it, and we had permission to use the camera. One guy wanted to film his daughter's wedding, which he did, and they broadcasted it.
Yeah, I guess, you could do it like a, you know, somebody's birthday if you want, just
Yeah.
put it on TV.
Right, but I think there should be a requirement.
Okay.
We're gonna ask you to put this together.
Okay, I had a feeling. Alright, so of public value. Okay, do you wanna put a time limit on equipment? Even if it were like, kind of like a library book where you can renew it, but like at least there's like these incremental periods where you check in or something?
I think it would say it's an event that takes 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
They should have the full 3 days to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't limit it to just like a 3, but I'm just thinking like somebody checks it out and has it for 9 months, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it would make sense to set sort of a time limit, not to say that they couldn't then again take it out, but like, if we leave it open-ended, then they never actually really need to return it, right?
Yeah, I think, you know, our equipment is
Mhm.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm more to on the side of no.
Well, we could, you know, you could also put in that, you know, people who borrow it need to be trained, need to have experience. You could also make a requirement that they have to volunteer X amount of hours for the station before they're eligible for borrowing equipment or something like that. You can put some sort of barrier.
Like that.
Yeah.
When cable first came to town, we had to take a so many week class
Mhm.
at the studio. And we had to work with the equipment and get you familiar with it.
So I think training at a minimum, they need to have some sort of training on the equipment, which I would provide. And then, as I said, if you wanted to, you could sort of make it so they had to like volunteer with the station or something, but that's up to you.
Now, of course, our station in Rutland, it's still in Rutland, I believe. We did a live TV show, Hubbardson Week.
Mhm.
We did it right in the studio, and we had cameras and the glass wall between editing and directing it.
Mhm.
We did that for a while.
So it must have been a station that broadcast in multiple towns then.
It was Rutland, our cable was coming out of Rutland.
Mhm, yeah.
So, I kinda like the idea of,
They've had me sit in on the capital improvement meetings and, that was something
I mean,
that was said, is the weeks.
I really don't wanna say just no, I mean, that's crazy, but, my thought would be that, you know, as it's available,
Mhm.
and, and they have, have training,
Mhm.
which you're gonna do,
Mhm.
No.
and at your recommendation, and I like the idea of, you know, we're doing more and more things, and it's causing us to have more and more of people on your side to come in to do
Mhm.
it, so.
No, I know.
It would really, it would really be a payback for a little bit for us
Right.
to have them come in,
The volunteer requirement.
yeah, the volunteer
And I know
requirement.
when, just the few months I jumped in.
So I know Sterling Lancaster TV has a 10-hour requirement. I don't know specifically of other stations that have a certain requirement, but that's just an example.
For training?
I don't know.
Not for training, just, 10 out. Basically, you can become a member of the TV station, and in order to become a member, you have to volunteer 10 hours towards the station. But once you are a member, then you have access to the studio, and you have access to their equipment, and da-da-da-da. 10 hours might be a little steep here, just because we don't have that much stuff going on, but, you know, I think, I don't know, 4 hours or something like that would be very reasonable. I mean, obviously, both of you have volunteered well more than that, so it wouldn't matter, but, for anybody new coming in, you know, the requirement could be like 4 hours of volunteering for the station and going through training,
And with the approval, with your approval.
and with my approval, okay.
In 1991, I made that documentary, the Hubbardson movie.
Mhm.
I was 40 hours in the studio editing it.
That's it? I would expect it to be more than that.
Well, he's just really good.
He's really good, yeah.
Now I got my own editing, which is far exceeds that. But now, some people that wanna film it, they probably don't, they have to do the editing in the studio, but that's complicated to learn.
The editing?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like, you know, if you start out on like iMovie, it's kind of accessible and it's not too intimidating, and then once, you know, people get comfortable with that, then they can graduate to something a little more complex.
With the Final Cut Pro you gave me was totally reinvented.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
had to learn it all over again.
Yeah. But it's still faster than
Right.
back when you did the VHS tapes.
Right.
Okay, so I'll I'll draw up a draft equipment sign-out sheet with these terms on it, and then next meeting you guys can look it over and see if it
Okay, that sounds good.
fits.
Old business, we got anything hanging behind us?
I don't know if it would be considered old business or new business, but it's financial business.
We'll shoot it.
Okay, so I submitted, my invoice for October through December in early January, and I also submitted the invoices for the camera purchases. My invoice was paid, and, it was about $500 of the camera reimbursement was paid. And so I inquired as to why that was, and, as it turned out, the allotted money for the fiscal year is used up. So,
You know, last year,
huh?
this last year's
I,
money.
you know,
For
I'm gonna.
fiscal year.
I was thinking about that this morning. I'm gonna have, I don't know who I'm gonna have to go to here.
So what's gonna have to happen as far as that getting paid is it will have to wait until town meeting.
And that's a piece of crap.
They know that.
Well, that is what it is, but then on top of that, that's services from the budget, that's services from July to December, but we have January until the end of June ahead of us with no money.
Oh, these guys.
So like, we have to make some decisions, I mean, I typically submit invoices in 3-month increments, and, I usually anticipate that those will be paid within 30 days. But like, I'm looking at not receiving funds from the town for like 6 months, which is kind of a lot, when I have to pay my employees and stuff. So, I will say that I did meet with Nate, like, before all of this happened, and talk to him about my concerns, cause this happened last year, where we had to pay, or you had to pay part of my invoice at
Nate's
town
the new
meeting.
guy?
Yep, yeah, the town administrator. So I talked to him about one way that we could cut some of the costs is to make, or have the boards and committees meet here in Slade. Because when they meet in the senior center, or they meet in the library basement, there's the time of my person to record the meeting, but then also they have to take that footage, put it on the computer, process it, da-da-da-da. Versus here, if it's recorded here, it's recorded directly to the server, and that's basically the extent of the expense, is just the recording of the meeting. So,
My problem is totally different.
Well, let me finish. So to Nate's credit, he did, take action, and most of the boards and committees have been meeting here in Slade, which is great. Which does cut costs, but it doesn't cut costs enough. But I did go through, before, Nate had asked the boards and committees, so July through, it was really like November, there was about 39 and a half hours spent on processing meetings that took place outside of Slade, which was right around $1,600. So that would have, if those boards and committees had met here in Slade, that would have saved cable about $1,600. And stands to reason, if we continue that, that's additional savings.
Hi there, good morning, how are you?
Yeah, so,
I haven't really had a chance to even meet him, so I need to come in
It's fine.
and,
We'll take care of it, we'll make sure it gets there.
this issue of taking it back to be approved by the town, the town meeting, is just stupid.
yeah, but it's the way it's set up, and it's this way in other towns too. The only, the alternative would be for cable to
We're all set.
separate from the town and like make its own like 501c3, and then it would be independent of the town. But otherwise, when it's operating as a town department, that's how stuff gets allocated, even though it's not tax money, that's how it gets allocated. It's annoying, I know. But, yeah, July through December, we covered 98 meetings and 6 events, we covered a lot.
Right.
And it stands to reason we could probably expect similar for the other half of the fiscal year. I'm just not 100% sure what we should do here, if I should suspend services, cut back services, I don't know.
Supposing we cut back,
Mm-hmm.
since, so when we start saying no,
Mm-hmm.
we can tell them more,
Yeah, you could say like we can't cover it because
because,
we're out of money.
well, we have the money, but.
Yes, it's not allocated for this fiscal
Yeah.
year. I think, now, they're probably doing budget stuff now, and I think we should actively take, or, the committee should actively take a look at what is being budgeted for FY
Yes,
'24, so that we don't do this again, because we did it last fiscal year, and we're doing it again this year, and if some drastic change isn't made, it's gonna happen again the following fiscal year.
yeah, so when I talked to him, I'll throw that out, I said, first off, that money can't be used by anybody else.
Right.
And it's not town tax money. And we're just doing, we have a really good program going here. And, the people, you tell us all the time that we're doing better than, all these
Oh,
other
yeah,
ones.
there's absolutely a demand for it.
Yeah. And so, I'm going to, we're either going to increase the allocation, or
We'll have to cut back.
we're just gonna stop doing it.
Yeah. I did think of one additional cost-saving measure that we could do, rather than having someone here in the control room operating the cameras, etc. We can set it, like this meeting is, on a wide shot and just automate the recording. There'll still be a little bit of time, cause we'll have to look at the file and trim it and stuff, but you wouldn't pay for the person to be sitting there for the hour and a half, 2 hours recording the meeting. That's an option, but again, the camera will just be on one shot, so if somebody from the audience talks, you don't see them, or if, these people are facing whatever board and talking, you just see the backs of their heads. So
one of these cameras is viewing us?
that camera right there has a wide shot on us, right now, cause there's no one in the back room. I'm just controlling the recording from my computer. And so if we were to do automated recording, cause I would just set the server like, select board's scheduled to meet at 6:30, I start the server recording at 6:30, I have it end at 10:30. And then next day I go in, look at the file, okay, they started, right at 6:31, and then they ended at 9:30, and so I just trim the file and whatever. So that could be a cost-saving measure, but quality suffers, obviously, because you're not switching between cameras, you're not getting conversations very well. But it does record the meeting and it does get the audio,
People
so.
can still hear the whole meeting.
You can hear the whole meeting, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it gets the meeting, but, there's, some quality is sacrificed. So, those are kind of what I see as like options. I'm just not 100% sure where we go from here.
What really bothers me is that when we signed the contract with, what is it now, 7 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
We had this conversation and they told me, yeah, most of them, that's not in the town budget.
What, the funding?
Yeah.
Well, the way it's set up in this town, that's how it is. Yeah. So, I mean, if there is reserve funds, like, it would probably make sense to sort of over budget for years, because whenever you don't use the funds, they just go back to the reserve. So, it would make sense for budgeting a little bit more, but I assume the budgets are kinda coming together now. So it probably would be prudent to see what, they haven't asked you to submit a budget for FY '24, have they?
No, they've never asked me to.
Yeah, so somebody's just plugging in a number, so probably need to talk to whoever's doing that and have them plug in, make sure they're plugging in a big enough number, yeah. Yeah, well. It's just,
I have a couple of things in this town that I'm really not happy with.
well, you know what, the budget was fine pre-COVID, and then we started covering the meetings, all the meetings, cause they were on Zoom, and now we're back into in-person, but we're still covering all the meetings, and there's an increased cost, and now, you know, those old budget numbers don't work for that. But, I mean, people are watching it, so it would be a shame to
Very much so.
take that away,
Problem is
but,
you have to-
you know, if you don't have the money, you don't have the money.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The town.
So the cable viewing, people that have cable, is that downside, decreasing all the time?
You mean like watching our programming,
people
or
that-
just in general?
In general, people that have cable,
Like nationally, statistics, it is going down, but it's it's a pretty slow decline. There was sort of a sharp decline, I think, because a certain demographic all kinda cut the cord at the same time. But now it's kinda leveled off. It is going down, but it's very slow. So, I mean, overall, long term, I have a feeling it will continue to decline, but the streaming service market is getting so saturated that you're starting to see them bundling the streaming services, much in the way that cable bundled channels.
Right.
So we're probably going to eventually have a model that looks a whole lot like cable, but it's streaming services instead.
like Charter, they didn't want me to just get internet, I had to bundle it.
Well, yeah, they just want you to do that.
Now you can get just internet,
Yeah,
so when I got an antenna, I get about 45 channels free, and then I got Fire Stick that I get all your other free movies, Roku and
yeah, I mean, your guys' numbers for viewership is just so much higher than other towns, like your last select board meeting had 45 views. I mean, towns larger than you, it's usually like 10 or 12 views. It's just, I don't, people watch your stuff.
So,
36
yeah.
people watch the finance committee meeting, you know? Which it's just, you know, it's just kinda remarkable the size of your town and how much your committee meetings are watched.
you can keep track of who's watching what.
Just the YouTube. I can't keep track of what is broadcast, what people are watching, but our YouTube videos, I can see the counts on those. So, but they're like,
Well,
There
I
was
would've
liter-
thought that there had been a little pop-up, that, you know, maybe just a little pop-up after the meeting where they decided to go forward with the budget to the school.
oh, finance, the 36 views on finance committee is from the 17th, so not too long ago. I don't know if that was the one where they,
No, it was further back than that. What happened was that they, you know, I don't know how that works, but, if 3 of the 5 schools turn the budget down that is given to us from the school,
mhm,
and they gotta take it back and find a way to get it down so that.
A majority has to agree.
So, yeah, so, you know, all the way back to when I was on the select board, it's always come through. They always budget really high, and then they make you pound it down.
Yeah, it's kind of a,
And so two of the towns had turned it down. And all we had to do was turn it down
yep.
to put them in the other.
Right.
But all of the people my age didn't go and vote. People didn't have anybody in school, didn't go vote.
And the
then-
people with kids, yeah, they were more motivated and
And
they
so
voted.
now, your taxes are going up because we don't have the money to do the things we have to get done.
Yeah, I was just looking, there was a select board and finance committee meeting December 6th, and that had 80 views. But of course, the planning board meeting on the 7th had 66, so I mean, you just have high numbers.
That's good. Okay, well,
So
I don't have
you're
any-
planning to talk to Nate, the
I'm
town
trying-
administrator?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll try to get a thing with him. What days is he in?
I think he's in every day, Monday through Friday. I know he's in on Fridays, cause he
But
gets.
they're all closed on Friday?
The town offices are closed, but he said he's usually here, cause nobody's coming in to bother him, so he can get more work done.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know of any matters that I haven't reasonably anticipated.
No, I think we should pick another date to meet, cause
Yeah.
we do need to decide what we're gonna do operations wise until next fiscal year.
So- Let me get this going.
Giving us a report. We gave that up. And that's what he
This
finally
is not,
said to
Tuesday
us.
at this time is not
This really isn't
bad for me.
Okay.
It's budget.
I can usually
My-
make Tuesdays.
Since my wife and my sister-in-law are in there
Yeah.
at 10 o'clock too.
Oh, okay, perfect. They drag you along?
No, I walked in there and my sister-in-law says, well, here comes a
That's okay, so they just came to us and told us that the.
what was that, craggy old man.
Where does she live?
Quote,
What town?
18,000.
She lives in my house.
Oh, okay.
We put an addition on the
Ah.
house. She's all right.
Yeah, keep in mind, you're being recorded.
No, she's all right.
It's probably beyond its life expectancy.
The craggy came
But
from,
how much is it?
we were, there's a, what is it? It's not a book or,
But
it's,
still, economic, you know.
it's a little book
economic
about this
isn't
thick that comes out
Mhm.
from,
But in our
Boston.
budget,
Mhm.
Boston
even with rebates, we're even like,
Foods or something like that.
Okay.
And it's just, about, you know, people in the food industry and what they're doing. And
Okay.
so, we were in Westminster, one of the,
No, I
this
know.
last summer. And
Mhm.
a lady walked up and said, we'd really like to, you know, if you're willing, we'd like to have you put together, you know, things about your farm, how you got into this, and anything you want, and then we'll see if we can write up something, and then we'll get some pictures taken. So we ended up in this thing.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you get some sales out of it?
Well, no,
yeah.
but, it was in the fall one,
Mhm.
And we were, you know, that was the next farmer's market was the last one in the summer.
Ah, okay.
Now they're after me to start advertising. And, you know, we'll put you on the back page for $3,000.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm trying to go back to them, but what I did was I took, they actually gave me 500 copies. Just dropped them in my,
Like, what are you gonna do with all that?
well, all of my friends that always write me Christmas cards, tell me everything they're doing in their life, and
Ah.
what I did was I put a card in one and mailed it to them.
Perfect.
So, yeah, Tuesday. Do we wanna wait till next month, or?
That's up to you guys.
Anytime's good for me, as long as I don't have a doctor's appointment.
Okay, so let's just try to figure out here.
Yeah, any of the Tuesdays over the next month, I'm free in the mornings, so whatever works for you guys. Give you one? Let's say February 21st.
Right now, that's gonna be it.
Alright, February 21st at 10 a.m.